here. Yeah, great.
Whoa, this ain't going.
Be down the side.
But I appreciate everybody on the chat tonight for your comments. Well, hello, folks. Welcome to the Bee Connection tonight. Hopefully, we'll have a really good chat. I'm a little under the weather. I think Tommy is also. So we will see how this progresses tonight. We may have a guest speaker also come on. But it has been a extremely busy week. Got to meet this guy over here on Saturday. Yeah, that fella right there with his wife. Who brought up 4 colonies to help the beekeepers out in Ashe County. And that's the title over this is Beekeepers Helping Beekeepers. And there's one thing about beekeepers. We like to take care of our groups, our people. So I do appreciate that, Keith. Thank you very much. We also had the Missouri boys, as you have seen on the page of this, that they come, JW and Matt come and met me in Knoxville, Tennessee. And handed me off some bees. So I did bring JW a special queen, which was kind of funny. I was in the truck, and I said, "How did this queen get in my truck?" It was 5 o'clock in the morning, and I had taken some Nukes gesture boxes and put them in my truck, and this queen was in there. I was like, "How did this queen get there? She didn't get in the hive last night. It was crazy." So I went and clipped her, and beautiful queen, and give it to JW, and he didn't seem to like her too much. I thought he'd try to, at least put her in his bee yard, but comes to find out it was a black jacket queen, yellow jacket queen. So he wasn't very enthused to put it in his bee colony.
Oops.
Yeah. So, but it did look exactly like a queen late that, early that morning. So anyway, we met up with them and hightailed it back to Ashe County. I think we had 14 colonies that we handed out and to the folks. And we had the inspector there. He come out and inspected all the colonies. Said that Matt's bees were perfect, but Tom's bees were kind of,
tiny queens.
Tiny queens, not very strong colonies, just all kinds of stuff. So, but said Matt's bees were perfect. Said they were some of the best colonies he'd ever seen. So
that's awesome.
That was definitely great. We handed those out, and people were very, very excited to get those bees. So I'm tickled to death. Then we had some people to donate some money that's here in the chat. We had Philip who donated some money. He donated a lot of money, actually. But we had several people to donate some money. I did post with this group. If I knew how to do the pictures on here, I'd show you, but we actually handed a check to the Bee Friends group here in Ashe County. So, and they're very grateful. And they have told me that they are looking to buy a couple of OA machines, oxalic acid machines, and we are going to go out and help people, teach them how to treat their bees. We felt like most beekeepers lose their because they don't treat, and most of them are a little intimidated with the oxalic acid machines. So this would be a good way to teach people how to treat their bees. So
it's a great idea.
That's awesome.
We felt like the extractor idea kind of doesn't work out. It seems like there's a lot of fighting when that goes on. People don't clean it or whatever. So a couple of machines to help other people out, that would be great. So that's where we're at. My bee yard, I've got robbing like crazy. I mean, it's been bad. Lost 4 queens out of my horizontal hive that got robbed out and killed. They were 2 framers, and then I had 3 other colonies that ended up getting killed out. Some nukes that I've got my nukes all the way across, and it seemed like the first 3 took a bad hit. They also found a hole in my honey room, and I had a ton of bees in there. So they got my wife's laundry room, and she was not very happy with that either. So
Awesome.
I'm a little bit in the doghouse. A little bit.
You don't want to fold. Yeah, you don't want to fold one of those up in the towel.
No, Amber actually did get stung on the foot. She made us a big note. So when you go in there, to make sure you watch where you step. So anyway, it's beekeeping is just, it's so interesting. It's just so interesting. So,
The gift that keeps giving.
yeah, exactly. So what's going on with you, Keith, down your area? You still getting all this honey that all the rest of us beekeepers would like to have?
Well, the ladies, they're still bringing in something. I've got all my wet supers back on. I'm glad I put them on. I've got some hives that are gaining weight. I can't explain it. I don't know what they're getting. We've got a lot of mimosa blooming right now, crepe myrtles, a lot of clover. The rain has been really good this year, so there's a lot of clover blooming. So yeah, the ladies are still flying good right at the moment. Not a lot of hanging out on the front porch like a bunch of bored bees. They're all busy. So we'll see what they bring in. I've got quite a bit of honey to sell. So working through that. It's been 90, 95 degrees down here this week. It's been pretty toasty. I did have to go into the hives one day to do a little bit. Man, that was hot. Didn't want to stay out there too long, but you got to do what you got to do. So I don't know what's worse, getting out early in the morning when it's a little bit cooler, but the humidity's off the chart, or wait till a little bit later in the day when it's hotter, but the humidity drops. Seems like you sweat about the same amount, no matter if you do it in the morning or do it after lunch. So don't really know which one's worse, but yeah, things are going good here. I got no complaints. Got to get them to the point where I get the supers off before too long. Like you were talking about the OA treatments. It's going to be time for that, or a time for when I like to do it, middle of July, start my 4 or 5 rounds of that. So,
and you're doing the sublimation also, Keith, where it's evaporating around. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I've still got the old timey Larabi corded model. But I've got power at both of my yards, so that's not a big deal. But it is slower than the battery power ones. Right. You kind of think it'd be the other way. Plugged in the wall, you would have unlimited power, kind of. But you can get a lot of amps out of those batteries. So he's apparently jacked the heaters up on those units that run off of the batteries. I know one of the guys that I helped bought I bought one of the battery operated ones for him at Nobby last year, and man, it's quick. It's a lot quicker than my corded model is. So, but the corded model's paid for, and I'm stingy.
You sound like me. My heater burned up in mine, and I still haven't had mine replaced, the old model. So the last time I went to Nobby, I bought the instant vape because I needed something. Yeah,
and I did burn up one heater in mine. I had to replace it, but she's still running for now. But that might be my big purchase this year at Nobby. Get a new vaporizer. We'll see.
So Matt, what's going on in your area? I mean, you have those perfect bees, unlike Tom. Best colonies ever.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
Nectar's coming in. We're full force right now. So all the clovers are out. White Dutch for sure, but the sweet clovers are still up. Like Keith said, mimosas and pretty much full bloom right now, just getting underway. That bloom seems to last for a little while. It's spread out amongst the larger trees or smaller trees and what have you, but it seems like it blooms for the most part, the better part of a month. Now, I don't know how much nectar they get off of it, but during that time when that tree is in bloom, our supers are usually filling up pretty good. So I don't know if it's from that or just coincidentally, other nectaries are wide open at that same time. But yeah, it's so far so good. I mean, I'm trying to keep up. I haven't extracted it all like Keith. I have all my spring honey just sitting right above the brood nest right now, so I'm probably likely losing some of it to brooding up, but it's all right. I mean, we're gonna have more honey than I know what to do with. I think the last count I had was about 65 deeps and about the same in medium. So
Wow.
I have my work cut out for me. I know
Nice.
coming up and just trying to keep up with them and giving them space, cracking lids, and just yeah, they're drawing comb for us. So we're on a mission to about 1,600 foundation frames to draw out this year. So that's what's going on. Really, just trying to stay ahead of them. They're plugging along here pretty well. So.
Mhm.
Wow.
You still
Queen
got
queen season's rearing down. You know, I have just to give you an idea. I went from about 48 mating splits out there to roughly in half. You know, just selling queens off and establishing other hives and other out yards. You know, for next year's honey production. So winding down on it with all the heat and the dragonflies, but we'll still go through July probably before I pull the plug on that. It's too much fun, honestly. Raising bees is probably my favorite thing.
Yeah. Yeah, if I could make as many queen or many colonies as I could, I would do. I would just continue to do that. But that winter seems to hit, and you've got to be ready to get that fixed. So,
yeah. Are you still heading to the Sourwood before long?
well, you know, Keith, I started taking that trailer wood out of the bottom of the trailer to replace it to get ready to build my nice new racks and stuff. And it was a stock trailer, so. I come to find out that I guess a lot of the manure from the cattle had kind of got down where the leaf springs are at, and they're about to pop. So,
Oh no.
I've got somebody to come to do some welding for me, and he's going to try to weld all those spots that they're just barely hanging on, and maybe weld it up enough to get it, you know, to where I can use it, and then put the new floor down. So I may end up missing the Sourwood flows off the mountain, but I think I could still get to the higher peaks maybe at the end. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. Yeah, the sourwood's blooming big time down here, but we don't get anything off of it. Maybe a little pollen, maybe a little nectar, but you can't really make sourwood honey. We're about 950 foot down here. But up in the mountains today, I noticed a little bit of sourwood, but not a whole lot. I didn't see a whole lot blooming up around Sparta, Roaring Gap, up that way.
Yeah, as soon as you come up 16 there, usually you see it, you know, beside the roads, pretty heavy. So that's a good sign that it's not hit. Maybe I can get out there still and catch a little.
I think that's up about 3,000 foot up where we were today. So, yeah, you still got a little bit of time if you want to try it, but clock's ticking.
Yes, it seems like one more project, right?
Yeah, the sourwood. It seems to come and go pretty quick, you know, for the people that chase it. They got to get the empty supers up there parked, leave them a couple of weeks, and it's over with. So,
and they really do the same method that you do, Keith. Is they pull them supers off very, very quick. I mean, they usually let them fill it up, and then you're pulling that off. You dehydrate that honey because you're just trying to get as much as you can get.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
so, I've seen Bob Benny chase it. Some of his videos where he chases it, and that's kind of what he does. He'll taste the honey, you know. Oh, it's not started yet, and he'll pull his supers off wet. He'll got new supers on just to make sure he's going to make sure he gets it.
Oh yeah, he knows that. He knows what he's looking for. You know, he's like, oh, that's got a little sumac in it, or you know, the sumac got in it and screwed up the sourwood, or you know, whatever. So yeah, my taste buds aren't that good. So
mine ain't either. Glad to see Alicia on here to keep Matt straight tonight. Nope, we can't hear you, Matt. Uh-oh, his sound is...
He's muted.
Yep, you're muted. Can't hear you, Matt. He'll get it fixed here in a second. Let me send him a message real quick and tell him he's muted. So you got a little bit of a fair coming up. Is that right, Keith? You're going to be having your half tracks out there?
Oh, July 4th, parade season. So I got to get the half track and the Jeep ready tomorrow for parade early Saturday morning over in East Bend, a little
Mhm.
community in Yadkin County, and then next Friday evening, late, I think 7 p.m. The parade is in Yadkinville. So
Okay.
we got 2 parades coming up. I've already bought I probably got about, I don't know, 25 pounds of candy. So that'll be fun to throw. And I always love parades. That's the highlight of my half track year is doing parades.
So will you be doing honey at these also, like you did this weekend? You gonna be selling honey also?
No, this will I'll stick my half track and honeybees magnets on the side of the half track, but I won't be selling honey. I'll just be shaking hands, kissing babies, and throwing candy. So having a good time.
He's gonna be like a president, Matt, ain't he? Just just waving at everybody that goes by.
Oh, I
a
grin
beauty
like a
queen.
possum. You can't help but grin when you're in a parade. People hollering at you that you know. And a lot of people hollering at you, "Hey, Keith," and you ain't got a clue who it is. But,
right.
but
All the kids, you're making memories for them for sure.
Yeah, you got to make sure you don't pop the kids between the eyes with a Tootsie Pop or something. But
right.
try to throw it
right off the forehead.
Yeah, my wife, she's listening in another room, but she likes to go through the boxes of candy and picks out all the Tootsie Pops. She says it's a safety thing.
Yep, right.
So, so yeah,
quality control and safety, probably right.
But she leaves the chocolate ones. They're not dangerous.
Right.
Just the raspberry and the strawberry. So
that's funny.
Hey Matt, have you heard from JW Days? JW, is he still feeling okay? Is he still down?
Oh yeah. He's feeling good. I think he was actually shopping. I'll have to tell you what he was shopping for, but he was. I don't know, and it may have been on the dirty side, so you'll have to ask him. But he was at an auction, I think, and I'm not sure if it was at the dirty side or what have you. But he was busy probably hauling his gear back to the farm, if I had to guess.
I was really upset that he didn't keep his queen that I brought him.
I know it. He just opened that clip and just let her fly, didn't he?
He did.
Give him back to Mother Nature. It must be nice.
That's a special breed of bee that it's hard to find them. So
it is. That's what you call one of those striped queens.
Yeah, there's my wife chiming in. It's a safety hazard.
Yeah.
The Tootsie Pops. They're like little guided missiles.
Yep. But yeah, no, that was a blast, Ricky, coming down to meet you, and the conversations with JW. That's always priceless. Hanging out with my buddy like that. And heck, I even let him drive the truck. You should have seen the grin on his face going. I think we left all 4 tires going over a railroad track, but I'm not sure. No, he had fun. It was a good time.
You got to watch the old guy, They say you can't teach an old dog do tricks, but that old dog got in that Chevy with Duramax, and he didn't know what to do. Right?
I know he was grinning pretty loud. He was having fun. I guess we'd say that. Good thing there weren't any stop signs on our route.
What's going on with
what's
you guys?
Going on with you, Tom?
Yeah, what's going on with you, Tom?
I've been sick the last couple of days, honestly, and I'm working on getting over it right now. But I feel a lot better tonight. I came home, I started feeling bad a little bit on Monday, and then Tuesday morning I woke up, didn't feel great, and I just pushed through it. Man, it's just been scorching hot. I think that's kind of been the trend, just mostly around the southern part of the states, Midwest and such, and it just went straight from mild and rainy to hot and kind of dried out a little bit, but. I mean, that's the name of the game. You stick around long enough in Missouri, the weather will change in about 24 hours. So anyway, I came home feeling really bad. And by the time I got home Tuesday night, I had a guy picking up a nucleus colony and queen. And I had Melissa handle it because I went to bed and said, I'm checking out. I'm done. So anyway, today I kind of did a few small little things, but didn't venture too far. So I'm feeling a lot better now, though.
Good deal.
Yeah, so I was talking to Lee, and he said it wasn't hot down there at all. He said they had perfect weather down there.
I bet. Right, man. 65 and no humidity, if I had to guess.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. Yeah,
it sounds good. Yeah, with this heat, man, if you it'll get you down, and if you are feeling bad, it'll really put you down.
Yeah.
That's I can only last about an hour and a half, even if it's 7 to 8:30 or 8 to 9:30, whatever it is. It's usually a couple smaller shifts instead of being out there for 2 or 3 hours a day or something like that. It's short and sweet right now.
Yeah.
I spent like 6 hours in the bee yard on Monday, and that's probably what did it. It was, man, it just.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
You know, I wasn't going to give up. You know.
No.
I mean.
Yeah, and I have to be careful. You can't just drink a bunch of water either. You got to get the other good stuff in you along with the water.
Yep.
You'll wash everything out of you, and you'll be even worse off.
Oh yeah.
So
that's the way I was today. I got out in the bee yard with a lady that's going to donate some more bees, like the guys here from Missouri. And I got out with her. We was out there a couple hours. The next thing you know, my legs getting stiff, and it's like, oh no, you know, I've got no minerals in me whatsoever, and my legs giving out every time I finally get to release. And she's like, "You need to go sit down, don't you?" And I said, "Yeah, let's go sit down and get a little water and maybe a fruit pop." And so we got a little juice and got some water, and then we was ready to go back for the next hour and a half. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure that makes a big difference. Sometimes I get so hyper focused on what I'm doing that I neglect what I should be doing. You know what I mean? It's just I just can't stop. I get out there and I just push, and I'm like, well, I only have 12 more. I just need to get these 12 more done. Then I'll stop and go take a break. And at that time, I don't know. It just probably should have quit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't tried that liquid IV yet. I've heard it talked about on a few chats. So y'all, you guys like that? Apparently, the folks in the chat have tried it.
Yeah, Paul says he about passed out and had a stroke.
Yeah, that's pretty serious.
Yeah, it is very serious.
I've gotten where I've gotten lightheaded a couple of times, but I've never passed out. Never really had a problem with heat. You know, I've worked out in it for years. You know, it's kind of what I do. Never really bothered me much. Cold to heat. I don't like the cold, but cold to heat, whatever. I could just keep pushing and stuff like that. But I guess I'm not as young as I once was, and I'm nearing 50 years old. So, you know, the mind is still young, right?
Definitely is. The body ain't, but the mind is definitely there.
Todd there says the liquid IV has too much sugar.
Yeah,
that's no good. I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to when it's this hot, I can't do sugary drinks, not at all.
I can't either.
It just doesn't work for me. I feel like I'd rather drink pond water than drink something with sugar in it like that, just because you actually get no relief from it whatsoever. You know, it's like you didn't drink anything, you know, when it has the sugar and stuff in it.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for unsweet tea, you know, but
yes.
I'll be a liar if I say I wasn't drinking Pepsi too, you know. So I drink plenty of water, you know. I probably drink 2 gallons of water a day. I'd probably say, you know.
Yeah, I'm a big drinker of the green teas. You know, it's light sweetness, and man, they're about perfect. Like that peach green tea, I really like it also.
Yep.
Yeah, I try to have the whole food pyramid. So I've got the water, the Gatorade, the Mountain Dew, and the Nabs. So that pretty well. Sit in front of a fan, put on a dry T-shirt, and get after it.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
A dry T-shirt makes all the difference, you know, as far as how I feel. If I can get the wet one off.
It's funny, Keith. I have to laugh every time now, taking off a wet T-shirt and getting those Chinese handcuffs. You know, it's like, oh man,
you just reach behind you and try to grab it. Some of my T-shirts are about as old as my kids are, and you grab one of them, you end up with a neck in your hand.
Yeah. But
then you can get the shirt off. So
wear an undershirt tank top, you know, and think that would be like an extra wick, and that made matters worse. You know, I was all discombobulated, tied up in a knot. You know,
you're like trying to pull a piece of rubber off of a seal.
Yeah, because you don't have the sleeves on, so you get limited grab. I was almost like the Hulk. You know, I just want to rip it off.
It's like trying to get a wetsuit off. That ain't
Yeah,
gonna work out well. You got to try to peel that thing down.
That's part of beekeeping, though. You know, sometimes you're in there, not necessarily going through an inspection, but there's times where you have to go to the yard in the rain, you know, to do something. Maybe it could be writing up a hive. It could be whatever it might be. In my case, not too long ago, was making sure the jar feeders were still on the nukes, you know, because of raccoon issues, which luckily have been, knock on wood here, it has been going great. So,
you know what I was thinking about, Matthew? Whenever you were talking before about that, kind of thought back about it a little bit, and I thought, well, JW was having all these problems, and you and I were not, right?
Yeah.
And then the more I thought about it, I'm like,
I already know.
Guy, he is just cantankerous enough that he would drive 3 hours over this way every night to kick the jars off the top of your hives.
Yeah.
I know he would do that.
Heck, there is an airport within a mile or two of that bee yard. So, I mean, it's.
Maybe he's taking the plane and dipping down across the hives and then clink, knocking the jars off and heading back up, you know, making rounds on it.
Yep. He's covering some ground, I'm telling you.
We're gonna have to dump some water in his airplane, huh? In his fuel tank.
Oh.
I saw Paul a while ago ask, was that naps, Keith? Well,
naps.
A nap would be good, but what I said was nab, N-A-B. Which I'm not sure if that's that's probably not a worldwide word, because you have round nabs and square nabs, and I'm a fan of the round nabs, so which go great with beanie weenies also. So when I was working for a living, I used to live off of beanie weenies and nabs and Mountain Dews. So I don't think I've had but one can since I retired. So living the good life now.
There you go.
Awesome. Matt, are you still seeing a nectar flow coming from your side there?
Yep. Yeah. I haven't been out there. Today, but there is no doubt that they are full throttle still, and it might only last a couple more days. It might last a couple weeks.
Yeah.
It's all dependent. Our sumac, our smooth sumac, our shiny and staghorn is right there. I mean, they're getting ready to be wide open, you know. Okay. So the sumacs generally seem to really like a hot, dry condition, and that's exactly what we have here. So there's no doubt that they're sourcing that with the sweet clovers, and there's just an abundance of things hitting right now with that ground moisture. Kind of like we were talking about earlier today. If we get a couple of days of just some light rain to replenish a little of that moisture, we may have a little extended flow, which would be great. So,
absolutely.
We'll see,
I need, you and I both, after we make a little short trip to go pick up some stuff, we still need some frames drawn out. And I still have every intention to get that done. If we get too much heat and it cuts the nectar flow off, we're going to be in a little bit of a pinch, because I still need probably another. When I was looking it up and trying to add up what we did, I think I've drawn out probably somewhere, it had to be close to 1,600 frames this year. Yeah. And I have another 350 I need to have drawn out, which we're getting close. And I think this is very doable. Last week when I put some frames on a colony, because I hadn't put any cut comb frames on, but I got some from Michael Mahar at 21st Bee. I got those, and I got some deeps. So I put some deeps on. And then, because you really have to have, for those cut combs, you need to have a pretty good nectar flow. Otherwise, the bees do weird stuff with it. So,
and a strong powder too.
Yeah, and it seemed like we had it coming in, so I finally went ahead and threw those cut comb frames in there, and went out there and checked them here just earlier. I just needed to see what they were doing, and they were drawing them out very nicely. So happy about that.
Yeah, I want to read this right here, because this is what it's all about, is beekeepers helping beekeepers. Big shout out to Roy Pruitt. Thanks so much. Looking great. Roy delivered me 5 frame nukes. I lost 11 and 12. Now back up to 6. Halfway home. That's what it's all about, people. Helping beekeepers out.
Yes, sir. And that's together as a community, we're basically unstoppable.
That's right.
I mean, that's the information that we can share and help each other with and pass back and forth, given our different areas and filters that we all have to have, given the information that we're hearing and what can apply to us in our area.
Yep.
There's a lot of priceless information, so helping each other out. Who else is going to help us if we don't help each other? Really?
Exactly. I might have a bad season. Maybe Matt and Tom has a bad season. I can go help them next year. You see what I'm saying? If we can we can come together as a community like that, we all win.
Yep.
Hey, I like to hear you say that. Con, I need you out here in 2 weeks. We got to pull. I know.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many supers are out there. Probably 140 or 50.
Yeah.
And then
I took note off of Bruce Jenny. You know, I mean, he's got some
Yeah, you need to get Bracken and Jed over there.
genius.
hey guys, come paint the fence. You'll love it.
Genius.
I'll
That's
provide
awesome.
the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it seems like, even Mr. Ed gets a bunch of beekeepers to come in and help them out. So, yeah, that's what y'all need to do,
Yep.
That's right.
Free education. Just come on out and we'll bottle some honey together, right?
Yeah. You find out what your fair weather friends are at that point,
That's
Yeah,
right.
especially if they start picking up those deeps.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want Paul to come up here now that he threw that comment up. I'm going to see how good of a friend he is to me. Paul, can you come up here? Let's see. I need you to come up here for a week straight, and let's figure this out. June, July. How about the week of the 20th and 21st, and then you can go back home on the 26th?
Yeah, well, it looks like he's into filling some stuff. So,
Matt, I was was moving some stuff out of the garage today because I had to go get a new dryer. Ours completely just whatever. Appliances nowadays, they're junk. I'm sorry. I don't have any appreciation for any of those companies. You're lucky to get them last a decade and that's it. And they're expensive. So I had to go pick one up today. And anyway, whenever I got back, I had to move a few things around in the garage. And when I went out there, I kind of started moving some stuff up to the container, and I went in where I keep all my beekeeping equipment, boxes, frames, all that good jazz. And I think I found in there, Matt, I have 3 medium boxes, but I don't have any frames. That's the only supers I have left up there, besides a few cut comb supers that I could throw on, but I don't have
That's
anything.
awesome.
I do have 40 medium frames in here that I did get because I found those foundations that I could assemble those. And then, we got to pick up that stuff tomorrow. So anyway, here we go. Got to finish this up.
Just trying to get whatever I can drawn out with the flow before I have to feed. I don't have any doubt that we could get frames drawn with feeding them, but that's going to cost money. Right now it's coming in for free. So there's a key time to it. And then after the flow, not letting them kind of get reluctant to pull comb anymore and keep them stimulated, and kind of after supers are off, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to probably try to feed a little bit and keep them on that path after treatment,
Yeah, same here. That's where I went. My intention is I have 40 more. 40. I think I have 45 more deep boxes that I want drawn out. They don't have to completely fill them up, but if I can get all those drawn out, I'll be pretty happy with that. Because then, next year we want to ramp up our game a little bit with nuke production and sell a few more. I'd like to do at least 25% more. So if I can do 125 nukes next year, that'd make me pretty happy. We actually met our goal and went above it this year. So I wanted to do 80 to 85, and we were like 3 shy of 100. So pretty happy with that. Kind of like you, Matt. That's my most favorite portion of beekeeping is actually the growing of bees, not necessarily the honey harvest. So
strong bees and healthy bees will make you honey. So I just have never really focused on honey collection. It's just focusing on strong hives and we're all just master manipulators of that. Trying to be of that species of insect that's putting away food for us to take, i.e. honey. So
absolutely,
it's all it's like a chess game is the way I look at it.
Absolutely. What's interesting, you and I were talking a little bit, Matt, how there's a lot of people around the area that have been reaching out to me, and I'm talking some decent sized players for that sideliner level have been reaching out to me and buying buckets off me, and some of them. Couple of them I didn't give him all the order that he wanted, just because I needed to make sure I had enough before we extract, but anyway, yeah, it's interesting to see how last year was a lesser than average honey crop year, and this one was shaping up to be the same. And I still think it'll probably be a little bit less than average for most folks. But, who knows? Maybe we can hold on to a little bit of hope that we have had enough ground moisture, and maybe we're going to cool off just a little bit here this next week back into the 80s. So that will still keep clover producing as long as there's enough nectar for it, enough moisture for it to produce nectar. So, it's always that balance. You can do, I believe you can do everything right in beekeeping to get the largest colonies before as the nectar really starts pushing and flowing. But, let's just say you do get it, and for whatever reason, at the timing that the nectar is supposed to be coming in hot and heavy, it doesn't meet up with it. I mean, that
it rains for a week and a half.
Yeah, exactly. Or you get 2 days of rain, 1 day off, a couple more days of rain, 1 or 2 days off. It's just, it's just, and the cool thing about it is, like clover, I don't think washes out very easily. But there's a lot of other nectar sources that do, so, I think the best decisions you can do is understand in your area or where your bees are at, what nectar sources are going to be blooming, about the timing of which, because we all know that they move around just a little bit. Have the bees ready for that. You kind of want them to peak after it really hits. That way that swarm impulse dies down. But like this year for you and I, as we get some nectar hit and it drop back off, populations are growing and growing and growing. And next thing you know, you get a long enough spell, 3 or 4 or 5 days that they're not bringing enough in. I think that's whenever their minds start going, hey, wait a minute, we're crowded here. We have nothing to do. I like the looks of that tree up there. Let's go ahead and hit the top of that tree, and then where are you? You did the best you could to plan for it, but weather gets in the way, and, it's always trying to make the best of a situation is what it boils down to. And like you said, master manipulating.
So I had something happen this year where I watched a production hive swarm, and this thing let off a pretty good it was a good amount of bees that went up to this tree. They were kind of checking out a swarm trap that was actually on the same tree, but I never did catch them. I know that the next morning when I went there, I watched them fly off and kind of tornado their way down in the valley over the trees. So they went back to Mother Nature, let's call it. So I immediately went in and tore that hive down to the bottom, thinking that I'm going to find queen cells everywhere. But there wasn't a single queen cell in there. What I did come across, though, what looked to me like a virgin, a virgin running around in there. And I since last week went back and checked, and she's mated. So I almost feel like it was a mother-daughter situation where they were already prepared for some sort of a supersedure event, to where they didn't even have any need to draw any queen cells, because that queen was already in there with some sort of pheromone level exchange, to where, and we're talking a double deep packed hive still after they swarmed. And I know that main queen had to have left with them, because this queen wasn't marked first off too. So
I see.
She looked like a virgin. She was a little stubbier, and came back, and then she was laying. So it was almost like, I think some of our hives potentially could swarm at any given time, and we would have no idea about it.
Yeah.
Let me go let my poochie in here. Sorry.
I actually seen, that would have been Tuesday before I left that bee yard, before I headed home. I've seen a little bitty small swarm. I'm talking like half of a fistful of bees. I don't know where it came from, what it was. I looked up there and happened to see a few bees kind of meandering around on a branch, and I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what's going on up there? I don't know if there was a virgin up there or somewhat had happened. I'm like, you guys can do what you want. I don't even care.
Yep.
At that point, I wasn't feeling well. So there could have been 4 pounds or 5 pounds of bees hanging up there. I would have left them. Don't tell JW. He would harass me to no end.
Yeah, those open air colonies don't have good rest.
I know. Yeah.
It's hard to get them out on the limbs like that.
That's right. Hey, so that comment that you just had up there, Ricky, I was going to try to answer that. Hope had that up there.
Yeah.
So I don't have any experience with it, because to my knowledge, here around my area, there isn't anybody, not on any kind of scale anyway, grows watermelons, nor do they grow cotton. Now, I know cotton is in the southern part of the state, and that may be where Hope is. I think she's south of Rolla, if I'm not mistaken. And I can't remember how far south, but but anyway, the one person who I know has had bees near cotton would be Corey Stevens. He said it produces good honey. Yeah, so
Bruce,
I don't know if it's one of the best tasting honey, but if it's a decent tasting honey or it helps to fill up a brood box or something like that, it's a win-win.
Bruce has some of his bees on cotton when I went to visit him in Alabama, and he gave me some of that, and it's a really light flavor. It's real clean. It reminds me a little bit of Sourwood, but just a nice clean honey. But he had his bees on cotton, so I think it's great honey. I enjoy it. It's a good flavor for me. I don't like it where it's too sweet, and it definitely did not give me that really too sweet flavor. So. That's an interesting. How many people mark their queens? Jay's talking about marking queens. So
I actually kind of really started focusing on it here just a couple of years ago. Now, some people I know want to mark their queens with the intention of being able to see them each time, and that's great. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. I mark them because when I do find them, or I want to requeen, or I want to do something, I want to know what age the queen is in there.
Yep.
That's really my main purpose. So I go ahead and mark them. And then that also helps me understand too, because I don't have just bees in my own yard here. So I can't pay attention if they swarm, or if there is a swarm. I can usually tell later on if something's happened, of course, but, and we've had a few. I don't think I've had a lot, but I've had a few, but I haven't, once we supered, I didn't dive down into any of the brood nests of any of the, those production colonies. I just let them ride, but we'll be tearing into them here before too long. But yeah, if you know that you had a marked green queen in there or a blue queen from this year, and you go back, a month later, you pull and you find a queen in there, it's like, they swarm. So then at least the age of the queen is kind of what I'm pointing out. Melissa and I don't want any queens older than 2 years in there.
Right. And the second part of that is, but he couldn't find her. Any tips on finding the queen? And a couple things for me is it seems like there's more bees on the frame where she's at for some reason. I don't know why that is. And they always seem to make a little circle around her. And she's like a bully. She seems to want to push her way through the bees also at the same time. So
she has that retinue.
Yeah.
They'll be the bees. I will say this, Jay. I think Jay was the one that has only been keeping bees for a short time, the young 13-year-old man. So what I'll say this, if you tried to mark her and she ran away, she likely won't be where she should. Meaning if she is normally not on a honey frame, or she's normally not on the side of the wall or the bottom board or something where she's not going to hang out. But sometimes those queens can hide. I've had queens that'll run off and hide from you and keep kind of darting away. But I've also had queens that'll actually lay eggs right in front of you in the broad daylight with you sitting there looking at them, putting a mark on them, so those would be the ones that I would prefer to have, the ones that are very, very calm on the comb, because there's nothing worse than pulling up a frame of bees and they all scattered and run everywhere. I don't believe that's a genetic trait that anybody wants to have in a colony. It causes chaos is what it does. And I think it's more difficult to manage that. So just a food for thought there. But what I would tell you is if you tried to mark her and she ran away, just close it up and let it ride. Don't try to tear back through it for 20, 30 minutes, disturbing every frame multiple times, because the chances of you squashing her or if she gets on an end bar and you go to put her back in and you hear that little crunch sometimes, the last thing you want is that to be a queen. I'm sure at some point I've probably done that before, not knowingly have I done it, but it's best just to put it back together and come back to it another day. And then what I would do then is you generally don't need to look at the end frames, which would be your honey frames traditionally, and or higher up. If you find a bunch of honey frames at the very top of the box and there's no brood, go to the nest where you find the youngest larvae and or eggs. Likely that's where she'll be, because if you find eggs, you know that she's probably been very, very close to there. So those would be the frames that I would pay close attention to.
Sometimes the easiest way to find a queen is to stop trying to find her so hard, and just
right there.
Relax. And in doing so, it sounds funny, but relax your eyes a little bit, and it can kind of be stressful when you can't find your queen. It's always like, really quickly it gets like this little turkey, she keeps hiding on me, and then you get rushing just a little bit. It'll just take you longer. Whereas you can, even tilting your frame away from you, looking at it just on a different plane can help, because she's larger. She moves either a little slower or it has to make a wider turn, kind of like a semi, and your eye can pick up on little things like that.
Absolutely.
That, and also the next frame from the one you're getting ready to pull up, a lot of times she's right there on that because the daylight's there. She's getting ready to go to the next frame behind her or go around the side. But, chance don't forget to look at that next frame before you even pull up if you have one out already.
What's your comment on that, Keith?
Yeah, the last comment is more my speed. Yeah, I usually don't even look for my queens. Yeah, but I'll find them sometimes, when I least expect them. Really, the only time I look for a queen is if I'm going to put some frames in a observation hive, like if I'm going to make a presentation or something, or if I get a queen above an excluder, you got to find her to try to get her back down.
Mm-hmm.
But normal inspections, I'm, eggs, larva, I'm out of there. I don't need to see Her Majesty. It's always a thrill when I do, and when I got newbies that are working with me, they always want to see the queen. But I try to squelch their expectations with my ability to find her before we go too far, and convince them it's like, you don't have to find her. We've got eggs and larvae. Let's don't rip the hive apart. There's no need. Everything's good. So
sometimes,
I think when you're not looking for her, you find her. And I think the way a queen moves across the frame is just different, and that's how I usually pick her up. You see that something looks odd. One of the bees is different. Not just the shape and all, but just the way they're moving amongst the other bees. So,
don't look for the queen. Look for something that's different, right?
Yeah.
I like the point that Matt brought up, and I've noticed this year myself, is when I'm holding the frame, it's not like this. I'm holding it out here because I'm scanning the entire thing, and like I said, I'm looking for something that doesn't look the same. But I'll tell you this: I have the hardest time trying to find a really dark queen. I can know that I had caught a glimpse of her on a frame and stare at that thing for 2 minutes until my eyes are going crossed, up, down, every which way, and I'm like, I know she's here. Finally, you throw it back together, and it's like, I don't even care, If you need to get them down, just shake all the bees in the bottom box and be like, yeah, you're down there. Throw your excluder down and be done, or what have you.
Yeah, dark queens are definitely tougher.
Yeah.
With a queen and her abdomen's down in a cell laying an egg, she's about the size of a worker bee, so.
As far as what you see, it looks like a normal bee. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Matt, you were saying earlier, if you ever have trouble trying to find your queen, well, if you would go take her out to dinner, then
I know.
Hey, let's go to dinner.
I can't see the chat. She's probably posting because it's Margarita Thursday, I think, tonight. So
she hasn't posted for a minute, so she might be giving you a break.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm hiding out here on the back patio. The problem is there's a bunch of glass doors, so she can easily see it. If she needs to, I'll get caught. So.
Go grab some black spray paint and spray paint them all.
Yeah.
See ya.
I can't, she puts up with me, so the least I can do is try to spoil her a little. She's my biggest supporter. I couldn't do anything that I'm doing, in life in general, without her direct support.
Absolutely.
So she's my.
That's right.
I owe it to her, that. So.
A man is no good without his helpmate.
No.
Speaking of your helpmate, where is Melissa at tonight?
She's actually downstairs working on some stuff. So Melissa,
got your wife in the basement?
She went down there voluntarily. Okay, let me just sit that out, So we did a bunch of market stuff last weekend, and Melissa and I had the Missouri State Beekeepers Conference. We went down there early Friday morning and came back late Saturday evening, but it was all day on Saturday, but we helped set up for it, and we had one presentation to give. And anyway, we had a good time down there networking with folks and, helping set up and what have you. But anyway, but the boys actually did the markets for us. One went to one, the other one went to another, and one of them was a Friday night, full day Saturday, full day Sunday. And then, oh my gosh, there she is. I'm gonna quit talking, guys. Okay.
Busted.
Hey, babe, how's it going?
I'm labeling cut comb right now.
Oh,
so you're working while Tom is talking.
I didn't know if that was
I'm
Alicia
down here
or
working.
Melissa.
He's down there in the nerd factory.
The Nerd Factory. No, that's the candle making over in the other part of the basement.
Oh yeah, yeah. That spot still needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah, well,
She got waxed on my new vinyl floor down there, Matt. Well, it's not new. It's been for a couple of years.
It's all right. You know what gets that wax off is a stiff credit card. It'll get it right off of there.
She's not getting another one if that's what you're saying, bud.
No. Ask me how I know, because I was waxing frames on our stove, and that little splatter was all over the back where the clock is and everything else. So I didn't make a good decision on that one.
no, we got a steamer, a floor steamer,
Okay.
and that worked really. Tom did that on the floor. Sometime last year? That worked really good.
It's like a pretty heavy duty. Like I bought this to clean the license on capper. That's the easiest way to get wax off of one of these because wax gets everywhere. You go in there with a steamer after you're all done and get it all cleaned up. You take the steamer and just start hitting it, and it just melts it off. So this thing's pretty heavy duty, not just some little floor deal, but it's got a lot of attachment on it. Matt, are you still making splits yourself? Actually, or are you?
I've cut my mating down in half probably. So I've established. Well, I don't even know if it's 6 or 7 yards now. I'd have to think about it. But we have about 20 colonies per yard, aside from our main production yard. And that's got the most for sure. But I've cut down on it about half. So we're running about 24 mating nukes right now. I got a graft round that'll probably be coming out Thursday afternoon.
Okay.
So just a few more grafts, and that's about it. Really, we're just kind of just trying to as much as possible doing it during the flow and before it shuts off.
Yeah. So, otherwise, you're going to fight that uphill battle, right?
Yeah. Any brood frame, or split that we're making right now is at least 3 brood frames strong.
Yeah. Good call.
Hey, I can't see the chat right now. Is it Jay, the 13-year-old kid that's on here?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You just posted something about he said he thinks he has his mom talked him into taking him to the bee convention.
Yeah.
Jay, do you know about the Next Gen program where kids can submit a video essay and stuff and apply to get a scholarship? And I think they get their lodging paid for, their ticket, and a parent's ticket, and maybe even a food stipend or something like that too. I think Cayman said information for that will be on the website in July sometime.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if you knew about that or not.
Lee gave me the link last week, but I don't have that link right now.
Just go search North American Honeybee Expo, but there's not a link for the Next Gen program just yet anyway, because none of that information is posted yet. So
yeah, and there's a lot more YouTubers out there got shows and stuff. Mac, he's mentioned his on Tuesday from 7 to 10ish. You've got Charlie. Got Joey, of course. You got the Dream Team with with Brian and Bruce and that other feller. Nobody knows who he is. But yeah, there's a lot more streams on here to get a lot more information. If you guys get a chance to check those out.
Yeah, Nancy's got her chat now.
Oh yeah, Nancy's got her chat. That's right.
If you want to put your times up, Nancy, for your chat.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Then you got Gunline on Sunday night.
Yep.
Gunline.
Yeah, Tim and Hannah's great on Sunday nights. Yep.
Every show is just a little bit different. All pretty much geared the same, but there's just a little bit of different information coming across the different ones, and it's a great community. We're all in it for the same reasons, and
a lot of us end up on the other channels also. I may end up on a different channel, so we're all back and forth. So good information.
Yeah. You got Bill Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What, bees all day?
Well, Bill and Grayson is on Monday night.
That's right.
I tell you what, Joey's gotten off easy the last couple Saturdays. Him and JW have been off about 8:30 or 9 o'clock because they've been so quiet working or whatever. So I'm gonna try to keep them up till midnight tonight.
Oh my
gosh!
gosh.
On Saturday, I'm kidding. But
No. Speaking of Grayson, I'm going to be on Grayson's show Monday night.
cool.
Yep.
So
And his show's at 7 o'clock. Also,
that'll be
It's gonna
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody go in there and harass Keith on there. Make some
Yeah,
get some good
yeah,
questions
y'all
for him.
get some questions ready.
There
Yeah.
you go.
So I was just messaging Chris Medeiros right now. This is for Jay. If you're still in the chat here, bud. So I was just messaging him, and I asked him if the Next Gen program link is available to sign up for that yet. He said not yet. He said July. So stay tuned. Maybe what you should do, Jay, is don't purchase any tickets to Nabi yet, because there is a possibility. Now you have to put in a little bit of effort and a little bit of work, but I think it'll pay off for you guys. It'll pay back dividends here on this thing. So when this is posted, pay attention to the North American Honeybee Expo website. Ricky might be able to pull up a link and post a link here to that, but it should be easy to find. Nonetheless, just hang tight. Sometime here in July, Chris is going to get that posted. He's the guy that helps run the back operation of the Nabi website and all that jazz. He said he'll get it posted here. So it's very possible that you guys could get a somewhat free ride going out there. And I don't know all the details, so I don't want to say. You'd have to kind of follow along with that. But if you pay close attention, and again, I'm sure with your parents' permission, if you're on Facebook or if one of them are on Facebook, tell them to like the Nabi or the North American Honeybee Expo Facebook page, and they will post updates to that. So you'll be able to understand when that happens. So again, it's definitely worth something to check into, because there's some cool things that I know some of the great vendors actually do for the Next Gen program. So there's a lot to be had. You guys get some special presentations from certain or I think some vendors, but some speakers that are there. So you guys get some cool stuff that not everybody else gets to do. So again, Jay, hang back. Chris is in the chat right now. But anyway, they're the ones you need to reach out to. And Chris will have that posted sometime here in July. And something we're checking into.
Is that you, David?
There was a teenage high school kid last year that came up to us at the Missouri State Fair because we were helping work the Missouri State booth at the state fair in our state. And he was interested in beekeeping, and we told him about that. He applied, and he actually was one of the scholarship recipients. So,
awesome. And Cayman's got his own channel also, and he's kind of hit and miss when he's on there. But usually it's on a Saturday when he comes on. I think, if I'm not correct, and he's got a lot of good information about the Nabi since he's the one that's running it.
Yeah. I think I'm on the wrong stream here. Is that you, David?
Yeah. David Burns' channel.
Hey, I'm certified and bona fide. What can I help you with? Ask me anything.
Wrong channel. I'm on the wrong channel.
No, you're not. Ask away, old timer. What do you got? We got the Honey King right over here.
You got too much dirty side stuff on there tonight, Rick. I'm going to move on down the road. I'm telling you. These guys will lead you astray.
What have you been up to?
Never work either. They're always down or sick or something. I tell you, what can I say? Well, I just wanted to say hi because I'm just getting in. I'm hot and tired, wore out.
You need to give Tom some trouble. That's why you came in here.
That's what it was, yeah.
He can get enough trouble on his own. I don't have to help him.
I can open my mouth and put my foot in it just fine, right?
That's right.
What are you so worn out from today, JW?
Well, I had a rough day.
Oh, he was just watching somebody.
Rough day at the office. I bought me a swarm catcher today. And I had to try. I had bent the partake shaft on my big tractor and mower, and I wandered around in blood, sweat, and tears trying to get it bit put back together, and it hadn't been a pleasant experience, I can tell you. So I waited till the sun got down to try to finish it so I could stand it. I tell you, it is ferociously hot.
Show us what your swarm catcher looks like.
Sure.
I want to see what your swarm catcher looks like.
Is it a little basket on a pole, or what is it?
Yeah. Didn't I?
Oh,
Hey!
Looks like I've been found.
I had to carry in all the groceries by myself.
Uh-oh.
Ah,
Look
get
at
the
it.
kids out there.
Beekeepers not helping their wives.
Hang on,
Beekeepers,
Joe.
not helping
Be
beekeepers. Hey, Alicia, just send them a strongly worded email. That'll get them.
Yeah.
Beekeepers ignoring their wives.
Oh man. You
Matt,
know, I told you I'd get found before too long.
I think somebody needs some attention, Matthew.
Yep. I better get headed out, but yeah, that's. I'll have to listen back on JW's story because I'm interested on what happens. But
Yeah.
You're not in trouble yet.
Oh,
You can
Hey, the
stay
night's,
for those.
the night's still young.
yeah.
But I do have to go because you're not the most pleasant smell.
oh well, beekeepers need showers. You know what I mean?
Hey, what she really meant to say was smells like money.
Well, I'll
Okay.
catch you guys later here. You be good. And good seeing you guys. And Ricky, good seeing you on the trip down. And
Hey,
we'll
Matt,
catch you all later.
see you later, Matt.
don't,
All right,
don't
we'll
do
see ya.
anything that JW and I wouldn't do, okay?
That narrows it down.
He ran off on that one.
Yeah.
If you don't know, that was Sandy right there, right?
Yep.
Yep.
That was the Sandy.
The Sandy. Yep. So,
Ricky J had a little question up there.
okay, what was it?
832.
Okay. Is that the one about whether he can split in the spring?
Yeah.
Should he? Yeah.
Did somebody answer that for him?
I don't know if anybody did or not, but Jay, it just all depends on how big that colony is early spring. If it's come out real strong, put some feed on it, put a little pollen on it, get that thing ripping, and then you should be able to split it pretty easy. So, is that what you'd say, Keith?
Oh yeah, that's the main thing right now, Jay. You just worry about the winter.
Yeah.
Getting them healthy into winter, getting them through winter, getting a strong hive come out in spring. If you do that, springtime for a beekeeper is pretty easy. If you got a strong hive, you can do lots of things. So the key is getting them through the winter. That'll be your first win as a beekeeper.
Absolutely. And Chris has got some good information also, Jay, for you there. It says last year we had 30 Next Gen scholarships. We had them submit a short email with a 3 to 5 minute video on how you got started in bees, what you do with your bees, and a couple other things. So anything that you're doing with your bees, I'm sure if you could do, if you're thinking about doing some experiments and stuff like that, those kinds of things will push you ahead of another beekeeper, I would say. So. And then, do you have to wait until they make queen cells? So once you make that split, they shouldn't make their own queen cells. And the colony that you did the walkaway split from, it will make its own queen. So should. So, and most of us, that's what we do. We make walkaway splits. So that's what you do, Keith, right? You make a lot of walkaway splits.
Oh yeah, yeah. All of mine are walkaways. So in that case, Jay, they make the cells after the split. Really, the only time you're making cells before a split is either they're trying to get rid of the old queen or you're fixing to swarm. So that's really the only times you make queen cells in a hive, a normal hive.
All right.
Jay asked,
Here's another question for you.
Yeah. Oh, around here, I've pulled all my traps down. I didn't have any scouts. There's not anything going on swarm wise here where I'm at. Jay, I think you're further down east. I'm west of Winston-Salem, up in the foothills, or the eastern foothills. There might be some swarm activity down your way. I'm not sure, but there's nothing going on around here.
So what is the saying? Bees in July aren't worth a fly. Is that what they say?
Yep.
That's kind of the saying.
Yeah.
Swarm in July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you catch a swarm in July, if you don't have anything to give them, I mean, if you have some comb and stuff like that, they should make it through winter. But if they've got to build everything, it's going to be really tough on them. So.
Oh yeah. If you had drone comb and all that good stuff, put them in a nuke. According to how big the swarm is, feed them.
Yeah, let them fly.
You could get them through the winter, but if you don't have any of that, it ain't gonna work.
Said he's near Benson. Do you know where that's at, Keith?
No, but Google Maps does. It ain't in Yadkin County.
No, that's about middle ways down next to Raleigh, ain't it?
Benson, North Carolina. Those are Benson, Minnesota, and a Benson, Arizona.
JW, what's going on with you, buddy?
Benston is kind of
That's
south of
all. I
Raleigh.
just sent you a picture of my swarm catcher that I if you see it. That's all I got accomplished today. I had that and then getting my power takeoff shaft. Put it back on my batwing mower so I can mow some hay down. And so.
JW, is anybody cutting those fields back behind the hoop barn and baling that, or what are they doing?
No, I'm going to later. It's too late, but I couldn't get them over there to cut it, and I got rid of all my hay equipment. So.
Oh, okay, that was my
Yeah,
next.
I've got to get a little hay put up for feed the horses this winter. So.
Yeah. Didn't you have some round bales left in the back of the hoop barn?
Well, that's all straw. I just got that. We have some old junk hay,
Okay.
straw junk hay from last year that I put in there for a windbreak during the winter. That's about all straw though. Yeah, you can. Did you get my text, Rick? Did you check it?
I haven't checked it.
You need to check my text. I sent you a picture of my the swarm catcher that I got.
Oh. You know, I need to figure out how to get this stuff on the.
So I don't know how either. I just sent it to you.
Hey, Melissa, can you add something to the thing? Are you signed in under Ricky's deal or not?
No, I'm
can
not.
see-
No, I'm not
Okay,
signed
never
in
mind.
under Ricky's thing.
I can send you a picture if you want to post it up there. But
I'm mad at them. Actually, I didn't get it just for bees, but I'm mad at bees. I got some other work to do with it too. So.
I'm sure Tom wouldn't mind borrowing it. I know I wouldn't from time to time when I have some swarms. So.
yeah, hey, you're gonna need a big truck and an even bigger trailer to pull that thing. That's no light piece of equipment right there.
22.5
Yep, I figured it was over 20
pounds. 22.5 pounds.
We've got Joey on here tonight. Joey's following you around, JW.
Hey, Joey. How you doing, buddy? I'm gonna check out off here pretty shortly. I am flat, wore out.
Well, JW, I was a little sad you didn't take my queen home with you.
That was a nice queen too.
I really, I've kind of got my queen situation under control, and I didn't mean to be insulting to you, buddy. I just really didn't have a need for a queen of that quality. I'm kind of I have a kind of a mutt operation in my place, so I don't need them. I don't need them breeder queens like you got them on. You got on.
Those are words spoken from a true. He could not have worked that up any better.
I honestly thought you was serious when you first popped that dude out on me. And I had just, believe it or not, within 30 minutes of getting to your place, I was just telling Matt, I said, I'm going to have to see about getting some queens, And
what is?
Oh, he's over there in Bochito State Park. That's where all them Rudy Snoots hang out. Him.
Oh, is that what it is?
Oh, big
That's where
time.
Joey and
Sounds like a warm place to be hanging out this time of day.
Yeah.
What?
No doubt.
What was Nancy talking about? The eggs. I didn't join the chat. I don't know what she's talking about.
Yeah, I'm not sure what her question is.
She wanted you to make some eggs for her.
No, were you guys talking about eggs or something earlier?
I don't know anything about it.
Mm-mm.
Nancy, what are you referring to? Because I came in late.
She's actually been working. Do bees move eggs?
I was actually doing work. Do bees move eggs? I don't know.
I don't think they move them. I think they eat them.
Yeah, they definitely eat them.
I've heard that question debated a couple times.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I've heard both.
I've never seen it, but I've heard it. I've heard it debated both ways about moving an egg into a cup. It's like a swarm cell.
So I always thought about that. I'm like, why would a queen lay an egg in a supersedure cell? Like, she knows what that cell is. Like, that's a cell to get rid of her. Like, why would you get? So I always wonder if the bees actually move the eggs into not necessarily the swarm cells, but the supersedure cells. I always wonder if the bees themselves put those in there and the queen doesn't actually lay them in there. Again, this is just curiosity. I don't know anything. I've never read anything about it.
I can answer that, Melissa, if you'd like.
Sure.
Would you like me to answer that?
I would. Let's see what you got to say.
Well, you know what a queen bee is, don't you? It's a female.
Yeah.
You understand that part of it, don't you?
Yep, I got it.
Did anybody ever figure out why a female did certain things? Huh?
Keep you all on your toes. That's why.
With that vast plethora of information I just threw out there, I'm going to get out of here before some of the women pick up on my statement and I get death threats.
They already knew what you were going to say before you even said it. That's how smart they are.
Paul, that's a good question. So Chris actually just was texting, I think, with Tom, or did he call you earlier today, and just gave our information to the Louisville, whatever it is, Tourist Commission or something like that.
Tourism.
So hopefully they'll be contacting us soon to give us some ideas of what good places to use. That's kind of what we've been waiting on, is to hear from them, and then kind of narrow it down. Our problem is we're wanting to find a place for between 100 and 150 people, and I'm not. I don't know. I was wanting to do it at a restaurant like we did last year, and then everybody can just buy their own food, and there's not a fee to come or anything. But if we actually have to have it at a venue, we might have to do some sort of fee, depending on what it is. Because if we have it at a venue, we're going to have to probably have catering done. So we're just kind of up in the air right now. Like I said, Chris just talked to Tom today and is giving the Tourist Commission our information. So hopefully they'll be in contact with us here this next week, and then we can start getting some stuff figured out. So it's a little bit, it's going to happen. It's just still up in the air type thing.
I'm sure we can get some vendors to help sponsor that. So the idea would be keep the cost. I'd like to keep it at zero, but I think by adding this many people to it, I'm not going to find a place to do it for no cost. We only had to pay like $100 or $150 for that last one, and I think Bill with Shenandoah Bee Supply covered
Thank
the
you, Bill.
entire thing, as well as there was other people that donated money too.
Yes.
To that, and then there were some vendors who we rallied that were happy to donate some product to that, as well as some of the money that was raised. We used that to buy some things to give away. So we'll have a little bit more time this year to maybe get some products and things like that. I know Bill was from Shenandoah Bee Supply was already talking about wanting to donate a couple of actually pretty nice things. I won't disclose any of that just yet, but I would say likely this will be a nice, fun event. There'll be good conversation, plenty of friends to be made, visit some old ones, and we'll be able to have some food as well as have some really fun giveaways and stuff. And I think there'll be some nice things to be done. So I know there's some other vendors that I was kind of chatting with, just kind of nonchalant, said that they'd be happy to donate some stuff for that. So, and I even invited a lot more people to it. So maybe we can get some vendors there, not vendoring, but just there on a, just a chat level. But I think this will be fun. But again, if we're going to find a location for 150 people, it's going to cost us a little bit of money. It doesn't mean it's going to be crazy, but we'll have to see what we come up with exactly. I have a couple ideas about things.
Well, there's two locations too that we could talk to Matthew Doucette with Comfort Pro, because he's done the Beaks and Brews the last couple of years, and he's had venues that you could just bring food into. Yeah. So we could talk to him about those. The problem with those two venues is we're wanting to find somewhere that's right there in that vicinity, where those two places you did have to drive just a little bit.
It was a 10-minute drive.
Yeah, they weren't far away, but you did have to drive. It's nothing that you could, was right in that immediate area. But so there are options. Again, I'm just waiting for the Tourist Commission to get back to us so that I can see what other options there are before making any really decisions.
It's so cold, we could just, maybe meet at a park and have some taco truck come in, and they'd have plenty of room. But it was definitely cold the last few times I've been out there.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. The one other thing Chris also said actually is he said that he would be happy to, once we kind of come up with a plan and such, an area, location, and all that stuff, he said he'd be happy to promote that on the Navi website too. So this could very easily, if that happens, this could easily go over 150. So it is possible, depending on the location that we find, the location that we get, because again, I don't want to go throwing thousands of dollars out there myself.
Thanks, DC.
But anyway, the idea is to keep this at minimum to almost no cost. Nobody's looking to make money on this. We just want to give everything back to this, but that requires a little bit of planning, especially the more people you get. I mean, it requires a lot of people. Heck, just to do a conference that we do in Missouri, we already started planning 10 months out from the beginning of that one. So I think the biggest thing is to find a location that's suiting, and then kind of come up with a plan on stuff. And then it's going to be a little bit of, as JW would call it, politicking to raise a little bit of money, probably to cover what it is that we're doing. So just keep this in your mind's eye. And I don't know. I'm pretty excited about it. Honestly. I think it's going to be really good. I think this seems to grow fast.
Yeah, we'll have to be careful with that. If Chris promotes it, this thing could get
very big, very quickly.
Big, quick.
Yeah,
and we could be bigger than what we think is a room. Plenty big.
Well, we may have to do some sort of ticketing thing for that as well, kind of like we did last year.
What kind of limits, I guess, how many people come is we actually do it on Wednesday. So it's the day before. A lot of people still don't get down there until Thursday morning. So it's really only the people who come down the day before that.
Yeah, but if they know JW is going to be there,
I know. Well, they'll
probably get there like Tuesday.
We better just get,
They'll be lined up outside.
Yep.
Hey, if you tell JW he has to be there, he'll purposely not come. So we gotta treat him like 5-year-old. You know what I mean? You know, get him, tell him that the fence is fun to paint. You know, kind of deal, and kind of ease him into it.
Okay.
He's a mess. Oh my gosh.
The Honey King too. That's right.
All 4,000. Yep. Everybody.
Yeah. That would be a problem.
Well, I do think that originally Cayman had talked about doing like the speaker and vendor dinner on that same Wednesday. So all the speakers and I don't know about the vendors, but the speakers at least anyway. So not all 4,000.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that would keep our numbers down maybe a little lower. So
Yeah, he was talking about having something at the Crown Plaza, wasn't he? Was that going to be on Wednesday?
I thought that was Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was a different day.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's
Good.
Friday.
Good.
Because Hives for Heroes is Thursday usually. I think Hives for Heroes thing is Thursday. And Matthew Doucette's Beaks and Brews is Thursday also. And then our thing has been Wednesday the last 2 years. And then nothing was going on Fridays. That's usually the day that we went out with our St. Louis crowd. So, I don't know. We shall see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing everybody. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be great.
So what is the numbers? Is he going to get to 4,000 this year? What do y'all think?
For the expo?
Yeah. How big is this one going to be this year?
I think it'll be about the same as last year. Or the same as this year. However you want to call it. 2025. I think 2026 will be similar to 2025.
Yeah, he was talking about on his chat, the number of the floor space is pretty much the same as it was last year. So I think the numbers will probably be pretty close.
The one thing they talked about doing, Keith, actually, is how the food vendors were kind of in the hall to the left, if you will, and then there was a storage area back behind them. They actually, and I thought this was a superb idea because they actually cannot get any more space than what they already have. That what Chris was saying, that I don't think that's private knowledge. I'm pretty sure that was public because I heard him talking about it before. But he actually acted like that they the space they had last year, that's the space they have coming up this next year. So they're going to have to start to get picky about a few things. One of them, I think, was vendors for sure. But he said that they were talking about moving the food vendor out in the main lobby hall area where the tables were at. And I thought that was a great idea. But yeah. It'd free up a little space.
Yeah, that would free up quite a bit.
I mean, if you think about it, where you entered in to get all your lanyards and all your goodies and stuff like that. That whole one side of it, where Cayman didn't have his little booth area set up out there, that was pretty much open. I mean, after everything came through, it was pretty well open. So you could put food out there, more tables out there.
After the initial rush getting in and getting registered, that was a lot of open space over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how was the food last year? Was it pretty good?
It was about the same as the year before.
Okay.
Just good. a couple more options.
It was not good.
Not impressed.
Not at all.
I'm still upset because I swear originally Cayman had said there was going to be food trucks, and I was so excited that there was going to be a whole big huge variety of food trucks outside. And then we got there and there was just
Nothing.
like the pizza and the pork stand and like a chicken stand the first year. I was so upset. I was so disappointed.
Yeah. It was edible. It got you through to supper.
Yeah. that's about it right there.
Melissa didn't let me eat a whole lot. She kept me out there on the floor the whole time, Keith.
Whatever.
She said it was good, but I don't buy it.
Just eat cookies and drink coffee all day.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not a coffee guy. I'll drink iced tea all day long, and it has no problem for me to drink a gallon this time of year, a couple gallons of it in a day. But I'm not a coffee guy, and honestly, I I don't eat breakfast. I mean, if I'm bored, I might eat something. But
I'm going with you, Clay.
when you're out there visiting, I don't know. I don't get hungry. Ready for a good dinner, though. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, that pizza place that we had it at last year, that's really that's some good pizza. It really is. What was that place called again, Melissa?
I don't remember. I have to look it up.
It's on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, if someone was looking for some good pizza down there, it's only about a 3-minute drive from, depending on where you were staying at, but some of the hotels that were right there is only about a 3 or 4 minute drive from there. Yeah, I agree with that. Barnhill Bee Barn. They definitely need tea on.
I agree.
I'd be there all day.
Yep. Well, folks, we're going to go ahead and call the chat tonight. We got to let Melissa do all this work. She's way behind.
We got 2 markets on Saturday. I got to prep for.
Yeah. But I do appreciate everybody being on here. Looking forward to seeing everybody at the Nobby. This is going to be an exciting time as always. And hopefully I buy enough equipment this year. It seems like I always don't get enough equipment. So anyway, we'll catch y'all next Thursday. Stay safe. God bless. And we'll see you next time.
Night, everybody.
See y'all later.